Why do you need to address your subconscious beliefs to create change in your life? Why do we talk to the subconscious? Why do we work with the subconscious? Why do we do anything above and beyond getting therapy, reading our self-development, and figuring it out? This is why your subconscious mind is instrumental to your growth and healing. I have an example. This is kind of a case study of a session I had with a client a couple weeks ago. And this is just a perfect example of how things bubble up on a subconscious level. We then get to address them, make shifts. And in this case, we were actually addressing a physical manifestation of some of her limiting beliefs. So let's just dive right in. Gout. It happens. It's painful. It's one of those things that some people just struggle with. They don't know why. And this particular woman has been on this extreme health journey. She has been taking care of herself, doing all the right things, taking the supplements, having the clean diet. And so to have this flare up of gout was frustrating, to say the very least. Very frustrating for her. She came in and we were sitting and we were talking and we were sorting out what might be going on, what came up, what has kind of triggered this gout. And what came up for her and what she realized is that she has a lot of unknowns right now in her life. She's of an age where kind of things are uncertain. Her husband has his own health struggles. They're not quite sure what direction he's going. They're planning a big trip. It's just all of these unknown factors that cause an increased stress response and therefore triggered the gout that she has so often previously struggled with. And so what we got to understanding is that she is actually holding on to this fear. There's this fear of the unknown that's driving her and really concerning her and really beginning to stress her out. And she didn't even know it was there until we sat down and we talked through and we unpacked this. And so because we identified that fear was there, we were able to muscle test and determine what we needed to do to make the shift on that subconscious level. So we came up with a statement that is, I release all fear of the unknown. And we did the muscle testing in the Psych K container, which you hear me talk about all the time. It's amazing. It's a fabulous modality and really just such a straightforward way to make profound and lasting changes in limited amount of time. It's beautiful. But we muscle tested to determine what path we needed to take in order to make that shift for her. So I walked her through some different exercises. We did a little muscle testing. We did some visualization, some bilateral stimulation. We were able to start the process for making this shift. And not only did she feel like she ran into a brick wall, she was literally in her visualization, she saw like a block of wood in her way, directly in the path. She was struggling to figure out how to get through that. Like she described it as this complete barrier. She could not get through. It was just like a 2x4 across the way and she was stuck. And so with that information that she's feeling like she's got something in the way, something visually was indicating that there was some sort of a mental block. And so I took her out of the process and I started talking to her about, what is that? Why are we not able to release the fear of the unknown, right? Like everything is unknown. Nothing is certain. This is life, right? The only constant in life is change. The only consistent thing in life is that things will not go as expected, right? Like this is acceptance 101. So consciously she knew all that, but obviously there was something in her subconscious mind that was blocking her and that was creating that 2x4 across her path saying, nope, you're not coming through here. We're not releasing this fear. And so what I like to do when I'm connecting with people and trying to get to their subconscious beliefs is I ask them the question, what is holding you back? First answer is the best answer. Even if it's ridiculous, even if it doesn't make sense, don't try to make it make sense. Just what comes to mind when I say, what is the thing holding you back? And in this case, she said, well, my faith isn't strong enough. this woman has a deep, deep faith, a deep trust in God. I mean, it is wild that she has this strong, solid core foundation of faith until it comes to the unknown. And then she questions and she doubts. And this is all rooted in different things from her past. We won't get into that, but she's been carrying this for years. And so having that realization, we then understood, well, it's time we're going to make another shift. We're going to shift that belief so that we can break through this fear of the unknown. And we need to be able to release that so that she can accept and embrace her life's journey. So we came up with the statement, my faith supports me in dealing with the unknown. And again, in the Psych-K container, I was able to muscle test for her, identify that, yes, she does not yet believe that. We were able to do, in this case, we did some bilateral stimulation again. And then she went into this visualization process, and she was waiting for a shift. She was waiting for some sort of a mental, physical, or emotional shift to indicate that these changes had happened. And she just started laughing. And I, curious, of course, what came up for you? What happened? And she said, I was just focusing on the visualization of making that shift when all of a sudden it was like a 2x4 popped into her view and exploded like this. The 2x4 that had been blocking the way in her previous attempt at making a shift, in this process, she saw that visually explode as though a bomb had gone off and this thing was splinters. So that was great. We verified that shift had been made, and then we got back into the original statement, which was, I release all fear of the unknown. And with that block removed, with that wall, that thing preventing her, that lack in her faith, with that removed, we were able to just bust through that within minutes. As she was in that process, her feet, where she was experiencing the gout, started to burn and just fire up and just make her very aware that what we were working on was indeed a large part of the contributing factor to this gout flare-up. She had to sit down, complete the process sitting, and she was just blown away that not only was she very connected to her intuition through that visual that came up for her and that really guided us in a very powerful way, but also that physical manifestation flared and let her know that, yes, this is the thing, you're on the right track. And she was just able to release all that in a 1-hour session, and she left with a deep and complete belief that her faith was strong enough to get her through whatever she needed to. And then she was able to release the fear of the unknown and just move forward in her life, not knowing what's going to happen, but with a sense of peace and calm, and just that deep resonant faith, which, what a gift, what a gift. And when you align that on a subconscious level, you don't have to force those things. She doesn't have to go say affirmations every day. She doesn't have to try to remind herself that is the truth, because now that is her internal subconscious. Not only is it her truth, but it now becomes part of her destiny. Follow along to learn more about subconscious reprogramming with me.